I have a very simple desk setup 90% of the time, because I don't like having a lot of things in the way of me being productive, so I try to have as little as humanly possible on the desk all the time, so I won't get distracted. But this also makes a desk setup tour incredibly boring, so to spice it up a little, I'll make a desk setup tour of both my desks and some of the surrounding equipment I have laying around. Are you ready? Let's go. The monitors on my main desk is a pair of Dell ultra-sharp 32-inch monitors. They are 4K IPS panels and have a USB-C hub in the back with 4 USB-A outputs. So there's great connectivity options. They have great color accuracy and great blacks, so color correction, color grading and other kind of color intense tasks aren't an issue on these monitors. A feature which a lot of people will appreciate, but I don't use since I run them off DisplayPort from my PC. The feature is that you can connect the two monitors together and then you only need to input a single USB-C cable to your laptop to both charge your laptop and run both the monitors. Like, that's incredible. You also have the ability to connect two PCs to a single monitor and then see content from both PCs at the same time with Dell's picture-in-picture mode. A minor thing that I really like about these monitors are that there's no branding on the frame itself, which is one of the main reasons for why I chose these monitors over some other options with the same specifications. I came from a pair of 24-inch Asus gaming monitors with TM panels, and it's a world of difference, both with the way bigger sized monitors, but also actually not having to rely 100% on the scopes in my editing software, and actually being able to see what other people will see on their screens when the project is published. So it's a quite nice upgrade for me. The arm I have holding up the monitors is called a Logilink dual monitor gas spring. I had it set up with my 24-inch monitors before I set these 32-inch ones up, and I was super happy with them, so I just decided to throw my new 32-inch monitors up on it as well. And they've actually held them without a problem, even though I would have expected them to sag a lot, but apparently not. I like the fact that they have an easy detachable cable tray, so you can hide some of the cables away, because I don't like having cables hanging everywhere, even though that's exactly what's happening underneath the table right now. But no one sees that, so for my keyboard, I use a Dell Premier multi-device keyboard, which is a simple flat to the table keyboard. I bought it in a pack with a mouse, but I don't use the mouse. It has a few nice features like the ability to switch between a 2.4 GHz mode and a Bluetooth mode. The 2.4 GHz mode allows you to connect both the keyboard and the mouse to a single USB-A connector, which can be quite handy. I just use the keyboard in Bluetooth mode for both my PC and my laptop, and that works quite fine. I at least don't notice any issues with the latency from just connecting it like that. It's also quite nice that it's as simple as pressing a single button to switch between my PC and my laptop. The keyboard runs on AAA batteries and is supposed to have a battery life of up to 32 months. Yes, you heard what I said. This is just absolutely phenomenal. But of course, it's a productivity keyboard, and yes, they tend to have a very long battery life. So it isn't totally abnormal. The F buttons also have the ability to have their function changed into something else, like opening up a program. However, I just leave them as they are. It does also have 128-bit AES encryption, which is always a nice little touch. I have been using the keyboard as my daily driver for like a month now, and I've had no issues at all, and I also think I'm gonna stick to it for a little while longer, like maybe even years. My mouse is a Logitech MX Master 3. It's an ergonomic mouse with both a vertical and a horizontal mouse wheel. It's old and beat up, so nothing special. My sound system is something that I really would like to change in the near future because it's getting quite old. It's actually so old that the company who made the Go XLR Mini, which it's called by the way, doesn't exist anymore. So if there's any issues with the device, it's just too bad, because there won't come any software updates in the future. kinda sucks. But it still works fine for me, and I never change anything within the settings, so it's still a fine solution for now. But I will have to upgrade it sometime soon. Plugged into the Go XLR, I have a Shure SM7B microphone, which I sometimes use to get some nice sounding audio for my B-roll. But I actually bought it back in the day for streaming games like Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone, and I just wanted something that looked good on stream as well as sounded good on stream. It's still a phenomenal microphone to this day, which is also the reason that you see so many streamers and other content creators use it still. It's quite popular. Because I have a Sony FX3 camera, I also have this attachment where you can insert an XLR cable, so I often also take the microphone and cable with me on a shoot. The headphones in the interface is a pair of Biodynamic DT990 Pro, which I've also had for many years now. I have, however, tried to switch them out with other options throughout the years, but the reason for why I'm coming back to them again and again is simply because they are the most comfortable pair of headphones I've ever tried. Which is the most important part for me, since I'm sometimes sitting with my headphones on 14 or even 16 hours a day. The ear cup pads are just something else. I wish that a lot of other companies would take notice of this instead of using memory foam all the time. Don't get me wrong, I like memory foam for having a headset on for like 6 to 8 hours, but after that time, they kinda start to hurt a bit. Another great thing about the ear cups are that they are massive, so even though I have quite big ears, I have no trouble fitting my ears within the cups. They kinda just sit on the side of my head instead of actually sitting on my ears, which is quite nice. The actual sound coming from them aren't anything crazy though, so if you intend to listen to a lot of music, I probably wouldn't recommend them. But if you have to listen to teammates or yourself a lot, then they are great because there's nothing that's too punchy in the sound. The treble seems to be the most prominent and the bass isn't that noticeable. So for like FPS games where you don't need to get your ears blown off, they are great. But if you like more adventure and story-based games, I would definitely go for something a little more bass heavy. But this is just my opinion. If you're considering to buy them, then I'll just make you aware of the fact that you do need some sort of sound system or audio interface that can output a high amount of ohm or impedance. Because unlike a lot of other headphones, these ones are 250 ohm, which is quite a lot. So if you just put them in your normal auxiliary input on your laptop, they'll most likely not get enough power, so you're actually able to hear anything. I've switched out the ear cup pads for some black ones, so if you check them out through my affiliate link down below, that'll be the reason for why they don't look the same. I have a few quite important accessories on my table, some more important than others of course. The first one is a triple charger from Satechi. The Satechi Trio wireless charging pad is what it's called. It can charge both my phone, Apple Watch Ultra, and my earbuds wirelessly all at the same time. It's however not the fastest charger, since it only charges up to 7.5 watt in every separate space, so it can output around 24 watt at the same time. But it isn't that big of a problem, since the way I usually use it is when I'm sitting at my desk anyway. The sleek design kinda matches the keyboard from Dell, which is something I really appreciate a whole lot, because that kinda creates a whole theme to everything on the desk, and color matching is key. I kinda do hate that Satechi made the decision to make the Apple Watch placeholder white, but it's a minor detail. The next thing I have here on the table is a DaVinci Resolve speed editor. This is something I bought about a year ago because I wanted to start color grading within DaVinci Resolve, which for those unaware is an editing software used in a lot of high-level productions. There's a lot of features available within the free version of the program, however I started to get annoyed that I didn't have all the features available. I especially hated that I couldn't use my extremely great graphics card. So I decided to get the speed editor, and within any of the DaVinci Resolve products, there's a license to their studio version. So I thought that buying the speed editor was great value, since you both got a physical product with a digital product. But since I bought it, I haven't actually used it a whole lot, because it kinda seems like it's only a product that's great within the cut section of the program, and I never actually cut anything within that section. I just do all within the edit section, so it's kinda useless for me. You live and you learn. So now it's kinda just become a bit of a trophy on my desk, so it's definitely something I need to remove in the future. But it's here right now, so I kinda need to mention it. Then I have a card reader from Lexar. It's used for reading CF Express Type A cards, which is used in my Sony cameras, but it can also read normal SD cards. It's connected up to a USB-C cable and has USB 3.2, so it's quite fast. I really like that it has the ability to transfer data from both the CF Express Type A cards as well as transfer through SD cards. So big thumbs up to Alexa for designing a great product with great functionality. Then all the way to the right I have an Elgato Stream Deck Mark II in black. It's a device that's super useful since you're able to connect all kinds of different sounds up to it. You can get app plugins, you can do crazy effects on your stream, and so on. I used to have a lot of different features connected up to it. It could basically control everything in my apartment, but since I moved to this office space, I haven't set it up to that many different features. So right now I basically only use it to control my 2 Elgato lights. I used to have Nanoleafs and Philips Hue devices connected up to it, but right now I don't. You can probably also connect the Nicest Link app up, which is used to control my softbox, but I just haven't done it yet. So I might have to do that in the near future. It's a nice device though, and definitely something I would recommend every streamer to get as early as possible, since it can make your stream 10 times more engaging. In the back of my monitor, I also have a SanDisk 4TB SSD, which I just store some things that I have with me around to a lot of places. That's pretty much what I have here on my editing desk. But before we go over to my unboxing and recording desk, then let's take a short look at my PC and NAS solution, because they are quite vital for everything I do. The device on the bottom is my PC. It's a pre-made device from a Danish company, which I got a few years back. It has an Intel Core i7-10700KF CPU, a Gigabyte Aorus RTX 3080 graphics card, 64 GB of HyperX Fury Beast DDR4 RAM, a NZXT Kraken C63 AIO pump, a NZXT N7 C790 motherboard, and some other specifications that aren't important since most of it isn't available anymore, because it's beginning to become quite outdated. It does, however, still deliver phenomenal performance for what I use it for, which is mostly photo and video editing, graphic design, and a little bit of gaming. I do hate the design of it though, and I've done that since I bought it, but I bought it back when you couldn't get a hold of any RTX 30 series graphics cards, so I had to take what I could get. If I could have chosen to build one myself, I definitely would have, since I did that with my last one, and my brother and I actually had a blast building it. But it wasn't possible at the time. The unit I have on top of my PC is a NAS-Server from QNAP. It's the TVS 672 XT. Many of you will probably say now, what the heck is a NAS-Server? Well, it stands for Network Attached Storage. And it's basically a storage solution which you can connect to through your network. This device from QNAP makes it possible for me to edit 4K footage directly from it without the need to make proxies. And that's the main reason for why I love it. In the device I've installed a 500GB NVMe SSD and another 1TB NVMe SSD. The 500GB one is used for cache acceleration and the other one is just used for storage. Apart from having 2 SSD in the device, there's also a 6TB Red Pro hard disk from Western Digital in it, and 2 20TB Seagate hard disks. I run the unit in something called RAID 5, which do take a lot of storage away because it creates a failsafe for the system. This basically means that if one of my drives fail, then it won't lose any data since it'll be stored on more than one drive. So I highly recommend to set up some sort of RAID system if you have a NAS server. This NAS server from QNAP is super smart since it makes it possible to transfer data through a 10GB Ethernet port by default. So everything that I put on the NAS or take from the NAS gets transferred super fast through Ethernet, which is also the reason that I can edit directly from the device, as I mentioned earlier. This is definitely an expensive piece of equipment, but I'm so glad that I decided to get one, because damn, it's a game changer. The white device on top is just a switch with some SFP Plus connections, so I can use the 10 GB Ethernet connection that's needed to get most out of your NAS. Over here I have a very simple desk with not a lot going on, so I'll try to make it short and sweet. Lying on the table I have an old glorious XXL mousepad with the silent imprint. It's basically only here because the tabletop has a really ugly surface that I really don't like at all. And it does really not look good on camera at all. On both sides I have some lights from Elgato, which is used to light me up whenever I'm sitting at the table. They can be controlled through an app on your phone or your desktop, or through Elgato's Stream Deck, which I have on my main desk. You can control color temperature and brightness, but I often just leave them at 5600 Kelvin, which is daylight white balance. And then I of course adjust the brightness accordingly, depending on what I'm recording. The light on the left is an Elgato key light, and the other one is an Elgato ring light. Just for those of you who's gonna ask in the comment section of this video. On the key light I've just mounted a generic station with outputs for some power, so I easily can charge up some stuff on the desk. In the charging station I almost always have my Sony camera battery chargers connected, as well as a Google Nest Mini voice assistant, so I can ask some dumb questions anywhere in my office. I've tried a few different voice assistants and I found that the most reliable one is Google's version, so I'm gonna stick with that. On either side of the table I also have some Philips Hue Play lights, which can create a little touch to the look I'm going for whenever I'm recording A-roll footage. They've got 16 million colors, so you can easily change into whatever you want within Philips app. Everything from Philips Hue can also be connected to your voice assistant. However, I haven't gotten around to do that either since I moved office. That's how it goes sometimes. That's all I have on my desks here in 2024. It's an ever-changing thing, so I'll probably make another video like this by the end of the year. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll try to output as much content as humanly possible throughout this year. That was all I had for you today, so I'll just say, I'm out.